Hey guys, Meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this mountain weather forecast, and I want to do an update on this wet June outlook that I talked about a couple of days ago. And this is what we're going to see. Afternoon, rain, thunderstorms, widespread, probably all the way through the 10th, maybe even the 15th of June. Here's live radar. We've got some severe thunderstorms, and that's what this moisture does. This is live radar. Let me take you in a little bit closer north of Salt Lake. Some of these thunderstorms have turned severe with some hail and gusty winds. You can see that storm just crossing over into a special weather statement on that one. But the one up in Idaho was severe earlier, and there it is, expires in 15 minutes. But this is what you would expect with this type of pattern, where you get this rich flow of moisture, adding fuel to the atmosphere, extra fuel. And after you get the heating of the day, these storms will suck this up like a vacuum and generate a very mature storm system like this, a cell on radar. And that's what we're seeing. I expect this pattern to continue, like I said, for probably the next 10, maybe 15 days. And then I think we'll see it back off after that in a few places. But that's radar right now in northern Utah and southern Idaho. This is the view. It's the same thing I've got behind me. This is A Basin up at about 13,000. You can see the dark storm clouds building over the higher terrain here in Colorado. If I take you back to live radar, I'll take you into Denver, and I'll show you that we've got thunderstorms here, not only over the eastern plains, but over the mountains developing here. So that camera I showed you is roughly up in here at A Basin. But the storms typically develop over the higher terrain first and then break loose and move over the Front Range and the eastern plains of Colorado. And that's what we're seeing happen here today. All right, let me take you back. So I did write about it this morning. Update on June looking wet. So my bottom line is that I'm continuing to forecast above normal precip for early to mid-June across most of the West because of a powerful subtropical jet. And I'm going to show you that here in a sec. But then what happens mid to late June? Well, I think that a lot of the data now pointing towards some drier air as the pattern sort of backs to the west. Some drier air may move into New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, Wyoming. I'll show you what that looks like coming up. But it's all about this. The subtropical jet stream is powerful right now. And this is not normal for June. Let me take it full so you can see this. So look at the subtropical jet running. This is valid the 10th of June. And this is happening now, and it's going to continue through the 10th of June. A powerful subtropical jet, that core ribbon of wind coming off the Pacific, hitting Southern California, the Baja, parts of New Mexico, Arizona. Well, on the north side of that, that's your conveyor belt. It's bringing in all this extra moisture off the Pacific, and these areas of low pressure, just like a parade of them, are riding this subtropical jet into California and Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, all impacted by this type of pattern. It really reminds me of the powerful pattern we saw with the atmospheric rivers setting up in California and obviously impacting the interior as well, but during the winter. But what we're seeing here, again, this is not normal for June, but I think what we're seeing here is a transition into El Nino, and the subtropical jet really just opening the door for all this extra moisture across the southern tier. So that's what it looks like all the way through the 10th. So what about precip? So with this, early to mid-June, precipitation totals are going to run 1 to 400% of normal for a lot of the West. And I'll take this full so you can see this graphic. So this is the early to mid-June precip totals. Anywhere in, say, dark green and blue, 1 to 400% of normal precip totals, so rainfall. That's a lot of Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, northern Utah, potentially parts of northern New Mexico, northern Arizona, California, Oregon. So all those places would have high precip totals by June standards. And again, this runs into mid-June. Now, what about after this? Well, here is the same forecast model, and this is mid to late June. You see the change? A lot of the precip and the jet backs the precip west into California. And so it tends to dry it out a little bit in New Mexico, Arizona, a little bit drier through southern Utah, a little bit drier through Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana. So that could be the change that we see by mid to late June. The pattern could start to back even further towards the west. All right, guys, there you go. That's the update here, this mountain weather update. Always appreciate you tuning in here, and take care.